Hello everyone and welcome to the Transit Nomad family. Is visiting London too expensive? In this video we're gonna talk about London travel prices. And before we get started, I'd like to let you know that I am in London for a couple of weeks. I just arrived here today, and at the end of this trip I'll be recording my final verdict video comparing London with other cities to help you decide if you should visit while also saving you time and money with practical tips on how to get the most out of your trip. This will be an exclusive video, but you can easily gain access to it by subscribing or donating any amount on buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad or through the link in the video description below. With that being said, let's begin discussing London travel prices. One thing I do want to point out that even though I just arrived here today, as with any other destination in Western Europe, the key is planning ahead and booking everything ahead of time. So I'm already very familiar with the cost of accommodation and transportation and food and entertainment and sightseeing and all that stuff. And I can tell you right away, if you're looking for the short answer, the fact is that London is one of the most expensive destinations in the world. If you're looking for a budget-friendly place to visit, London is not one of them. Doesn't matter how hard you try to save on costs, how frugal you're trying to be. Even just accommodation alone, London is so competitive. There is a lot of demand, not enough supply, and the quality of that supply is pretty low because it's in a very high demand. So you're gonna end up paying a lot. How much exactly is it gonna cost? Well, the most basic budget hotels and Airbnbs start at around 150 to 250 per day. I'm talking about US dollars, so 150 to 250 American dollars per day. That is the most basic, cheapest options. A lot of these options are rooms, so it's not even a private apartment. You would still be sharing the apartment with other people and just having your own room, maybe even with a shared bathroom, and that would cost you $150 per night, which is pretty crazy because in some other countries, some other cities, you can get a luxury accommodation for the whole week for the same amount. But yes, London is very, very expensive, and if you're looking for something decent, something more private in a better location, something that's going to be more quiet and more comfortable so you can get a better rest, it's going to cost you $250, $350, $450 per night, and it's gonna go up from there depending on the options and the details, but it's not going to be cheap, and you have to understand that if your budget is limited, sacrifices will have to be made. In my case, I decided to stay a little bit outside of the city center because I like exploring public transportation anyway, so it's not a big deal for me. It's only about 30 minutes by train, and it's a quiet area, and I don't have a lot of neighbors. I do want to have a good rest at night and have a good sleep so I can enjoy every day to get the most out of the trip, obviously. So I'm pretty satisfied with that choice so far, but we will see how it goes. I will be posting updates in my future videos in regards to accommodations and my trip experience and my first impressions about London and maybe some tips. So make sure to stay tuned for that. As far as transportation, London is also pretty expensive. They do have a daily cap on how much you get charged, the maximum amount, but it depends on the zone, how far away from the city center you go and how many times you go, and whether you ride the bus or also you use the tube, the underground, the overground. It all adds up. My best tip for saving money if you use public transportation would be to stick only to buses. Buses are a little bit cheaper. It starts at 175 British pounds per ride, which gives you up to 60 minutes. You can also transfer to another bus within those 60 minutes of tapping your credit card. But if you use the tube or you use underground, overground, city trains, that's gonna cost a lot more, and that daily cap is gonna be much higher, over 10 or depending on where you go, it might be over $15 in a day that you would have to pay each day on commuting in London. And that is only if you use public transportation. If you use taxi cabs or Uber, ride sharing, other things, that's gonna cost even more. As far as food, if you go to cheap supermarkets, like Lidl, I don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but that's one of the cheaper chains here in Europe, and they have locations in London, not inside the city center. You have to go a little bit outside, but that is one of the cheapest chains, and the prices are comparable to some average supermarket prices in the United States. But if you go to supermarkets that are closer to the city center or in the city center, the prices are going to be higher, and an average meal cost would be around $10 depending on what you buy, because as you know, there are lots of choices in those supermarkets, and if you end up eating outside in restaurants, it's going to cost $20, $30, $40, $50 per meal, and more per person per meal, depending on where you go and what you get. It's definitely not going to be cheap. The good news is that in terms of entertainment, if you like museums, London has a lot of free museums. I'm pretty sure you already heard about it before. So if you really like visiting really good museums, and that is something that you like to do a lot, it might compensate for that. And you might enjoy your trip a lot, even though you'd be paying more for other things. But if you're not a museum buff and you're not that interested in going to all kinds of museums, then maybe it's better to consider other cities, Central Europe, Eastern Europe, places in Asia, even some places in the United States would be cheaper than staying in London. I tried to make this video as brief as I could. I hope I did answer the question exactly to the point. And on this note, I do want to remind you that as an active traveler and business owner with experience, I might be able to assist you with trip planning, life coaching, and business consulting, with all the details available at buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad, or through the link in the video description below. This is where you'll also find lots of exclusive content on different cities across the globe, my secret tips, PDF guides, and the option to request a custom video on any topic that matters to you. Once again, all of that is available at buymeacoffee.com/transitnomad. And one final tip I have for you, if you made it to this point of the video, is if you go to Western Europe, you must plan everything ahead of time and book at least a few weeks in advance, preferably a couple of months in advance. You do want to make sure that you know exactly where you're going to go, how long you're going to stay, which train you're going to take from one city to the next. If you procrastinate, or if you're not sure, if you want to play it by ear, everything's going to double, triple, or quadruple, or might not be available at all. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.